Because it does not believe in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And this is a condemnation.
Well, as far as I know, I'm live streaming on YouTube. It keeps giving me the business, so I don't know if it's working. If you're just tuning in, you can follow me on Twitter at Timcast. Apologies for going down. I was live on Twitter for a little while. Make sure you subscribe. You can support me by sharing the stream, giving a thumbs up, joining as a channel member. There should be a button beneath the video player, or Super Chat works. If you were following on Periscope, you probably know what we just saw, but if you weren't, there was the Patriot Prayer Proud Boys group just left the police protection, started marching away. The police then followed, but Antifa is now kind of mixed up. So it looks like we've got some Antifa here just in front of me. Let's switch this around. Who are just in front of me. That's counter-protesters who are now around the Patriot Prayer group. You can see they've got skateboards, and they're Whew. I think that guy just yelled Tim McGraw every day. Yes, YouTube is substantially better for streaming. The quality is better, audience is better, everything is better. And you can help by sharing the stream. If I try to share this stream, the stream will go down. It's a weird thing that YouTube has implemented where the stream shuts down when you tweet. I don't know why they put the tweet feature in the live streaming app, but they did, and it shuts you down if you use it, which is absurd, to say the least. But gonna have to do it. Stick around. Not so bad. You know, you lose the stream for a little bit, and the stream goes back up. Just gotta get that tweet out. All right, well, the Patriot Prayer Proud Boys group is marching, and they have limited police protection at this point. There's actually counter-protesters marching alongside them, yelling things at them like they listen to Tim McGraw and such. But we do have police just across the street, so it's not entirely without. But there are Antifa masks, sweaters, etc. all here. And I mentioned on my stream that there was a guy who was a scout for Antifa, and yes, he is with the crew, so that was the case. Oh, I should have got one of these scooters. So you've got Antifa here in the front of the group.
What does your sexuality have to do with politics? That's what I don't understand.
If you support Trump, reverse little minions.
Well, that's about 50%. Then what? What stereotypical response do you have after that? Okay, then I guess we're all trash.
Everybody here.
Here's my trash can, son. What's a trash can, son? Trump!
Well, there you go. I'm actually not a big fan of that when people start chanting and shut down the conversation. Even if the guy is just yelling, if you like Trump, you know, you're a fascist or whatever, just it's nice to have that even semblance of discussion happening, but... This is how fights break out. So let's, I don't necessarily need to get right up in front of the guys that are yelling at each other because this is where things devolve.
If you wear that red, if you say Trump is my president, you acknowledge. supported Romney. Yeah. Actually, how can you reasonably what's it was all about flag? Well, first of all, he cared about health care. Let's talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that.
And there it goes. While that guy's yelling about Trump, things are starting to heat up as people are now crossing the street. There's limited police presence. We do have some cops over here, but suffice it to say, I don't think the police are going to discriminate. The police are keeping the counter-protesters away, though, and the police presence is growing. Man, there's bugs everywhere here. Yeah. How's it going, man? On YouTube. Oh, right on, dude. Nice to meet you. Hey, Tim. Nice to meet you. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Here come the cops. Earlier, someone mentioned to me that there's always a delay with the police response, that the protest groups, both sides will move, and the police take longer to respond.
This is the Hoboken Police Bureau. Remain on the sidewalk.
Well, how about that, everybody? You know, there was one cool thing about Periscope is that you can do like a thing called like a follow request, and I guess just asks people to follow you. I don't know if it actually matters at all on Twitter. But if you guys have if you want to get your comments above everybody else's, you can use a super chat. It's very difficult for me to read the chat right now, unfortunately. So, I mean, this is what it is for those that are tuning in. It's a bunch of people mostly waiting for something to happen. And that's kind of the tricky part. For concerned about what's going on and worried something's going to happen. After maybe. Sorry, I'm streaming. I believe they're giving more orders telling people to move to the west. Okay. The police are once again telling the counter-protest side to head west, and the protest isn't moving. Oof.
Police Bureau. All those standing at the southwest Columbia and southwest Toledo need to move to the west immediately. Failure to comply with this order may subject you to arrest or citation, and may subject you to the use of the right formation or attack weapons. This is Florida Police Bureau. All those standing at the southwest Columbia and southwest Toledo need to move to the west immediately. Failure to comply with this order may subject you to arrest or citation, and may subject you to the use of the right formation or attack weapons.
Well, this is what happens when you fly out to Portland, I guess. I think, based on what we've seen so far, it's significantly more likely that we see the police take action against the counter-protest side, with many people on the Patriot Prayer side watching it happen. This is not too dissimilar to what happened when I was here about a year ago, and I believe it has to do with the fact, are they permitted?
They started throwing rocks at the police. That's why they broke it up last time.
Well, is a Patriot Prayer permitted? There's no permit, okay.
Because last time they just revoked it.
Yeah, they found weapons and stuff. And, well, that's what the
Police Bureau. All those standing at the southwest Columbia and southwest Toledo need to move to the west immediately. Failure to comply with this order may subject you to arrest or citation, and may subject you to the use of the right formation or attack weapons.
Well, the first time they went north, so they left the area. Yeah. So I guess it was like enough to where the police wouldn't, start arresting people, but they still disobeyed the order. As I was walking away, I made mention that the police ordered them to head west, but instead they went north. Yeah. And that was they disobeyed the order, and some guy was like, "Oh, fuck you, you fascist. And I was like, me? I'm just telling people what the police said. And he was like, yeah, you're a fascist. And I'm like, for telling people what the police, like, I'm not saying, dude, I was like, dude, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying this, like, I'm not saying the police are right. I'm just literally saying that's what happened.
Talking about people who call Jewish people neo-Nazis nowadays, you know?
Yeah. It's the darndest thing.
Yeah. Back in Denmark,
It's going down.
Whoa. There we go. There's rocks flying, flashbangs are going off, and people are... Heads up, they're throwing flashbangs. Yeah, it's going down. Police are clearing out Antifa right now for those that are watching.
They're throwing explosive bombs.
Those are flashbangs going off, and you can see rocks are flying back. Excuse me.
My name's Leon. People have been telling me I should speak to you for like years.
That's me, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna... All right, for those that are watching right now, police have started clearing. Whoa, wow. These people are cheering as the flashbangs go up. I don't even know if the stream's working at this point.
Yeah, we don't want to put because the second that we start launching.
All right, you can hear those explosions going off. Those are flashbang grenades the police are throwing at the counter-protesters. I don't know what this group's planning on doing, but I'm trying to make sure the stream doesn't cut out. Whoa, holy sh...
Timmy,
How's it going, man?
how are you?
Good. Good to see you.
Man, I like this stuff. Doing good.
It's light. It's lighter. It's hot out, you know.
No, your
It's
work
also-
is getting better and better. I love it.
Oh, thanks,
Keep it
man.
up. I watch it every day.
My dad called me and told me that. He was like, "Your videos got really good all of a sudden." I'm like, "I bought a new
They
camera."
Yeah, really, really good.
Damn, dude. So, you care if I ask you some questions?
No, of course.
There's explosions going off behind you. What's happening?
The police are teaching Antifa what happens when you fuck around. I think they took our moniker, fuck around and find out. So they're finding out right now.
Why do you think the police are over there and not over here? Do you guys have a permit for what you're doing?
Yes.
You do have a permit.
And we're peaceful. And we're very peaceful.
The police said that they saw weapons on that side.
Of course.
And they ordered them to disperse.
They don't listen. They hate the
But
cops.
would I be wrong to assume that people over here have weapons?
They may or may not.
Because there are rumors, there's photos on Twitter. I mean, look, if I'm going to be reasonable,
Be fair. Yeah.
I don't know it's true. I would just say I would be damned if people here weren't concealed
Of
carrying.
course. Oh, that? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of that. Straight up. And you know what? And because I guess the concealed carry permits don't cross state lines in Portland or in Oregon.
So people from Washington.
So I think maybe you can open carry, but I haven't seen anyone carrying. So.
There were photos earlier of people with like batons and shields.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I haven't seen any of that. Are they here? I'm not saying they're not here.
There's a couple, but
Been on our side with shields and shit?
yeah, a couple.
They took some of them and then they didn't take all of them.
I was interviewing a guy while they came up and took his flagpole away from him.
Yeah. A lot of
I-
guys on our side won't. They're hesitant to bring anything because they know we'll get disarmed. Usually they disarm us and then they let that other side.
I'm
keep-
I'm curious as to the actual reason why the police were like, flashbang, clear out that group.
Well, they were probably
They were breaking the
they're
law.
probably
Blocking
ordered
traffic.
they're probably ordered to disperse and then they won't do it.
3 hours to disperse, and they spotted weapons in the crowd.
And those explosions are still going off.
Go over there and find out for yourself, man.
Well, they'll start hitting me.
So wait, hey, you were on that side for a little. You weren't?
No.
Wait, the tolerance.
What?
That side's tolerance.
No, I have no problem saying that those people were screaming my name. They were literally screaming my name.
So it's not, did you get not?
No, they're just screaming "F you, Tim Pool" over and over again. And I'm like in a crowd, like walking by, and just they know I'm there, and they're screaming it. I don't even think the guy saw me. I think they were just yelling because they knew I was over here screaming. So it's like, what I tell, I could literally walk up to any one of you guys and probably swear in your face and call you morons.
And we would do nothing.
And all I would get is they would yell at me. If I walk over there, they'll be throwing me. In fact,
spit on you.
actually, I was interviewing a guy, and I was interviewing about his beliefs and whether he agreed with the alt-right and ethno-nationalism, and he was like, oh man, I walked over to a guy with a flag and I was like, can I talk to you? And he was like, F you, man, F you. And then his friend started screaming at me, and I'm like, whoa, like what?
Our side or their side?
It was counter protesters on this side.
Oh, yeah.
Holding a sign saying Patriot prayer, is bad and all that stuff. They immediately told me to F off, F you, and then a guy was like, almost getting to the point where he was like,
gonna fight.
Yeah.
Happened to me today. I was for like 45 minutes. I was talking to this Antifa kid. And we were having a good conversation.
So hold on. Everybody's marching in the direction of the conflict. Why?
Let's go.
All right. Well, there you go. Patriot Prayer, Proud Boys chanting "Whose streets? Our streets" as they're marching in the direction of the flashbang grenades.
Sidewalk!
People are saying, get ready. The Proud Boys are making their way into the fray. This is something new, okay? For those that are watching, I've covered conflict, but very little of that is cross-faction conflict. It's usually directed at the police. This is right-wing groups versus left-wing groups. Holy So there are some police here. But it would be really cool if I could link my heart rate to the live stream so you can guys see the gradual increase in stress and tension. As this group marches, they lose more and more of the police who are blocking off the street. And we can hear that we are getting closer to the flashbangs and closer to the counter-protesters. We're actually just a half block in that direction.
Trying to chase you.
So there are police.
They have a march to the streets, saying how much we love this country. They didn't want us to.
So again, for those that are just tuning in, most of what I've covered has always been an inadvertent clash. Okay, so what I mean by that is Berkeley was a rally and Antifa may or may not show up. This is known about. There are explosions going off in the distance from flashbangs.
This is our country! We're American! This is our country! USA! 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 USA!
There's Antifa. There it is. And there are the police rushing in to keep them separated. Wow.
That's where I'm right here.
Emily's friend, right?
Yeah.
How's it going, man? Yeah, I remember you. Yeah. Where was that? Was that Seattle?
No, that's here, brother.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can see.
How's it going, man?
Right now, there's some Antifa members.
Excuse me.
This is our country!
So just on the other side of that street, that's where the anti-fascist counter-protesters are. Police are doing everything in their power to keep the group separated, but I gotta admit, there's a relatively small group of police. Yo, how's it going, man?
Hell yeah!
Right now, the group is seemingly walking parallel with the anti-fascist counter-protesters. There's more Antifa. And there are the police, and they have their weapons out.
Police are actually doing their jobs this time.
We can see one officer's got his, I don't know, is it?
I actually understand that they're the violent ones, since the force had to be on them.
Well, I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
their explanation is that the police are on your side.
well, right. But look, as soon as they start fighting the police, they stop fighting us.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, they just
Tommy, go home! Tommy, go home! Tommy, go home! Tommy, go home!
You should be ashamed of yourself! You're responsible for killing us!
Both sides accusing each other of being fascistic dictators. One side screaming Nazi, the other side screaming commie. And there we've got some Antifa across the street. Antifa fanning people to come over. More police coming out of SUVs right here. We got helicopters overhead. For those that want to help support my... Oh, wow. I don't know if you can see that, but we got a huge truck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like you've got about 17 officers hanging out around that van. Antifa in this park, divided by nothing right here, nothing. But there are police straight ahead, and we do have several officers just on the road a few feet, and one officer here. So this space is entirely open, but I think it's going to be really unlikely that anyone breaks breaches the other side, especially with all those cops there. They storm out in seconds. But I have to imagine this is a really tough situation for the police trying to keep both sides separated. I gotta admit, this reminds me of like two dogs behind a fence barking at each other. I believe the dogs would actually fight if the fence were removed, don't get me wrong, but... Here come the police. So you know both sides are itching for a fight. I gotta say though, there's very few people on the Antifa side at this point. The police were throwing flashbangs. Presumably we heard explosions. It could have been them firing off potentially gas and rubber bullets. So we don't know exactly what those could have been. Loud bangs, possibly flashbangs, possibly. So you see these this officer here. It looks like he's got pepper balls. Those could be rubber bullets. I'm not sure, but I believe they are pepper balls. Though typically the pepper balls are in big canisters like paintball guns. You can see that some of these officers have, I'm not sure if it's a 40 millimeter or 44. Hey, are those canister launchers 44 or 40 millimeter?
I wouldn't know one way or the other, but they're very large.
Yeah. They use them for rubber bullets and like tear gas, CS smoke, things like that.
So So this is where things start to devolve. So
Oh, things have
everybody's
been
amped up.
devolving.
No one's listening to instructions. People are dehydrated,
Oh, I'm dehydrated.
so they're not thinking clearly.
Yep.
So this is about the time where like everyone who's really serious about fighting is probably going to fight.
You care if I film you?
Yeah, you feel me? Yeah.
Just what do you think's gonna happen next?
I think there's a lot of agitated people here because it's just really hot today. You know, we've been cool for the most part, but even the leaders of the groups like aren't, you know, can't contain everyone forever.
Oh yeah, I mean the police have been struggling.
Oh yeah, Antifa's across the street. They're baiting. They've been throwing shit at us.
Everybody's baiting.
Yeah,
Well, no one's on this side. I haven't seen anybody throw anything, but definitely both are
So that
insulting.
side is definitely baiting. You know, talking shit. You know, so they're trying to get him out. And and of course you have the mob mentality going on too. So the crowd's riled up. USA, USA. I'm with my brothers. Oh yeah, we can take on anything. And this is where the kindle starts.
Oh yeah.
The kindling. And it only takes like fuel to get the fire going.
There's a fence right now, right?
Yes.
We got a fence in the middle of those police. So if this, I mean, this is a huge group, man. This is hundreds of people right here on this side. There's tens of people on the other side. It looks like the police broke up that group. Something fierce.
Well, keep in mind, like the police that we can see are not all the police here.
Totally. Oh yeah. There was
And because I can only see about like 50 people here, lets me know like these are the only people willing to get into the dirt.
Yeah.
Everybody here on our side, we got it. 100, 200, 300, like 500 people here, probably more than that, against 45 people. So.
I mean, so
I
long
don't
as
want-
this side doesn't break the police line, I think everything will be okay.
Yo, it's gonna be big. But it's only a matter of time until, you know, if they decide to throw.
They were throwing stuff.
Yeah. So the question is, do they still have things to throw?
Oh, you'll pick something up. Well, I guess we'll see. I need to find water. That's what I need.
I'm at that point too, where I'm not
Where's
gonna
my-
last very long without.
You'll be all right.
May not last. It's gonna be very uncomfortable.
It's good that are they waiting in the shade on purpose? Everyone else is sitting in the sun.
I think so.
It's like, tell everyone to stand in the sun. We're gonna stand in the shade. It's weird to me how both sides, like one side was yelling, "You guys are Nazis," and the other guy's yelling, "You're commies," and I'm like, neither anyone on that side or that side is a fascistic dictator or believes in fascism.
Right.
Actually, I'm sorry. That's not true.
Well,
They
one
were
side is
flying a
communist.
Stalin flag.
Right.
There's red stars over there. I mean, look, Nazis are fascists. Commies are fascist. Well, commies are. They're both authoritarians, I should say.
Well, as I said to someone earlier, a lot of people here on both sides are here because of the lie. So the mainstream media told everyone that this is going to be a neo-Nazi rally. They said that this is going to be a Charlottesville 2.0.
Are you with the group? One of the groups?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, I've been watching shit for years.
No, I mean, which group are you with?
What do you mean?
Like, are you a Patriot, Prayer, or Proud Boy? Or neither? I'm not implying you are one of them.
No. So I'm not a Proud Boy. I have not aligned myself to either group. I know a lot of Proud Boys. I've known Joey Gibson since last year when I was supposed to speak at his rally.
Would you align with the protest, like the march and what they believe in? Like,
well, there is no solid unity on what everyone believes in. Like, ultimately, this is a free speech rally. This is a patriot rally. This is for people who believe in America and, you know, and everything wrong with it. But this isn't necessarily a Trump rally. This isn't necessarily a Patriot Prayer rally or a Proud Boy rally or anything like that. These are loosely like-minded people who believe that everyone has a right to exist and definitely have the right to constitutional rights of like freedom of assembly. So I'll support that with no qualms there.
activists from Charlottesville said that they were white supremacists, fascists,
Of course it
racists.
is. But
Would you agree with that?
That these people here are white supremacists, Nazis,
Yeah.
and fascists? Of course not. Well, look where that information came from. So I started with the Southern Poverty Law Center that said that they were the first to say that this was going to be a repeat of Charlottesville, that is Charlottesville 2.0.
Yeah, nowhere near.
They
Nowhere
said
near.
that Preacher Prayer was going to bring guns and they were going to commit acts of violence. Well, we haven't seen that. So from there, we've seen duplicate articles and titles from like Washington Post and New York Times, with similar types of rhetoric that violent neo-Nazi far-right fascist group, the Proud Boys and Preacher Prayer, are going to do this rally. They're going to attack people, citizens in the street. They're going to fuck people over. But what do we see? Over there, I see nothing but white folks. And over here, I see black, brown, Asian, Muslim, gay people, trans people. So the very side that the
that's
other
interesting.
side, which says that you guys are here to hurt minorities and people of color.
Hey,
But this side is filled with minorities and people of color.
I see some people of color over there. I don't see a lot.
One brother there.
There's a fella down there at that end. This is something that makes me really curious because typically the people on the far left who insult and attack me, they tend to be white.
Yes.
You know.
Well, it's always been my experience.
Like I feel
every racial slur that I've gotten in the past 20 years has always come from white people. No, not just white people, white liberals.
No matter what their political leaning is,
yeah,
it's white people.
And it's always like, oh, how dare you be a race traitor? Oh, how dare you, stick up for that side? I had this gay guy get in my face a little bit earlier. Let me just say I'm a gay guy because he was openly gay.
I remember that, yeah.
And he was like, oh, how dare you stick up for these people that attack me? And, he's like, and I told him, I asked him, why does Trump's tweets upset you so much? He's like, because they're spouting violence. I'm like, well, I haven't seen any violent tweets from Donald Trump. But you don't understand, it's hurting us.
Just some speedy movements. People are starting to move forward, so.
So the brother wants to go over there. I guarantee you they called him a nigger.
Well, the activists here were doing that. They were yelling at cops.
They called their brother a nigger. Thank you, guys.
Hey, something happened?
Sorry about that.
Something happened?
See something? They say the same shit all the time. Yeah, we have like 300 floors.
Hey, fam. My
brother.
Hey, fam. Hey, am I done? Yeah, hey, sir. I'm with you, brother. Fam. Hey, fam. Hey, fam. Hey, I'm a white man. Hey, you're not racist, brother. I look at you and I see equal. I see no color. I see my twin brother. I don't see color. You understand me, brother? Thank you. Yes, sir. My name's Christopher, sir. Nice to meet you, Edward Arthur. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am your brother. I am your brother. Nice to meet you. We are brothers. I don't see that color. We are brothers. I fucking love them. The best goddamn country ever. Best goddamn country ever.
They're tactic.
Yeah. Exactly. They're just trying to get you fucking pissed.
Hey, we want to go combat. Hey, soldier, I'm right behind you. I don't got nothing to lose. I don't got nothing more. We're going combat style like everybody. I'm with the old
What just happened? What happened?
They're just upset.
I'm gonna be careful about getting up in that because apparently it sounds like they were yelling racially charged expletives at this guy who was a black man. I don't think it was the N-word. I think they were saying things that just had things I don't want to repeat, but derogatory things about black people who agree with the wrong thing. If you know where I'm going with that, that's brutal, man. That dude's heated, man. He was about to charge over on the other side. It's so crazy to me that you have the people claiming to not be racist, hardcore racist. And I'll tell you exactly why I hate identity politics. I made a video about it the other day. I was tweeting about it. And it's funny how the far left just loves to dig into the fact that because I'm, I talk about how I come from mixed race heritage, and it's the far left who have insulted, derided, and antagonized me because of my past and because of my race, and it's white supremacists, and I haven't encountered any of that here. I've absolutely encountered white supremacists in Berkeley. I wouldn't say it was the majority of the group, and I talk straight about that. And I don't think everybody associated with Antifa and the far left are, but there's enough white supremacy on the left and the right, and it's ignored by everybody. And here you just had these two guys. You had a lot of people in the chat were calling it cringe, but you had this guy who was being antagonized because of his race. And this other white guy came up and took his hand and said that he didn't see color. He saw his brother, his twin brother, he loves America, and they shook his hand and they both were like, "I see you," and he's like, "I see you, you're my brother." And I'm like, I think that's what people want. They want to feel like they fit in, they belong, and there are people who care about them. And I can assure you, there are fringy people on all sides, whatever their politics, who have deplorable beliefs and opinions. There's a free hugs guy who goes around a lot of protests. He's a black man, and he's one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. I don't know what his politics are. I think he's kind of centrist. I talked to him before, but he's willing to hug anybody, and I got mad respect for that. I think it's absolutely unfair that the media plays this game like the Antifa side are not racist when they're absolutely racist, man. And it blows my mind that when I say that, as someone who's experienced racism from extremists associated with every faction, I'm not saying every everyone on the right or left are racist, but there's extremists. When I say that white supremacists fucked with my family, have said things to me that are like inexcusable, then there's like moderate people who are like, that's bullshit, man. I'm so sorry you dealt with that. But then there are people on the far left who just shit on me anyway. It's like they're right in line with that same bullshit narrative. So here we are. Tensions are hot. Lots of cops now. Lots of cops are able to flood in. We got this dude super heated, man. Apparently they were, again, for those who are watching, saying some racially charged things to this man. He was really upset. He was about to storm across the street, but some guy stopped him.
You belong over there, dude.
Keep in mind, for those that are watching, this is the city where far-left protesters were yelling the N-word at a police officer. And I'm not being hyperbolic. If you don't believe me, by all means, just Google it. Obviously, this thing wasn't covered heavily in the mainstream, but there were a lot of sites and a lot of outlets that were sharing this. In this video, you can hear the activists yelling the N-word over and over again at these police. And I asked one of my friends about it, who's a lefty activist. Believe it or not, I have friends who are left-wing activists who probably are, going over there and doing that stuff, but they're not crazy. It told me that Portland is extremely racist among the left and the right. That you got very crazy like ethno-nationalist white supremacists, and on the left you have the same thing, where they're willing to yell the N-word at cops. I don't know what they yelled at the dude over here, but they lit him up. I need to see about finding some water.
Let's go!
All right, the march just pulled an about face. It is turning back the other direction.
Thanks for trying. Yes, there we go.
Hopefully the stream doesn't cut out this time, but for those that are just tuning in, if you want to support my work, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. New videos every day at 4 p.m. Not always on the ground. I go on the ground as much as I can, but I can't be everywhere all the time. It's really expensive, so I go where I can. But you can also hop in the super chat if you want your comments to appear above everybody else's. All of it supports my work, greatly appreciated. And just subscribe. Subscribe because I put out videos and...
Hey, are you a white supremacist?
No. Someone just asked me if I was a white supremacist. Do you skateboard?
Yep. Oh, dude, I watched your video.
Hey, what's up, man? You've got Creature on your helmet.
Yeah.
So you still skate today?
Yeah, of course. Skate almost every day after work.
It's weird to me because I find most skateboarders are apolitical.
Hey, there's somebody in here, he's got no shirt, and he got his mom tattooed on his chest, and he skates too. It's weird.
All right, on.
I don't know, I feel like skaters are a little more open because they don't focus on politics, they're not like thrown in there.
Exactly.
So they're almost open to hear anything. They're like, I'm not trying to fight you, I just want to know why everyone's calling you a fucking racist.
Well, I mean, there's skateboarders over there who would whack you with the skateboard, though.
Dude.
That's weird to me.
Oh, mine's in pristine condition. They treat them as shit. Just like their streets, just like everyone else.
Yeah, man, I don't know a lot of pros that are down with that. I don't know. I know a few pros that are more like aligned with this kind of crowd.
They're just going so far, that you can't do anything.
Good to see you on the right side of this.
On the right side?
Like
the only side that's not going to smack me in the face.
The only media is here, so it's like you just see how they react.
I mean, I walked over to a group and tried to talk to him, and the guy immediately started swearing at me and threatening.
And I watched your video. You're way more liberal than I would even consider. But I'll defend. I'd rather defend your right to,
Yeah.
make a living
no pedophiles, no child sacrifice, no carnage.
That worries me, man. Anyway, dude. Hey, man. Good luck. Stay safe.
No carnage, no pedophiles, no child sacrifice, no carnage, no pedophiles, no child sacrifice.
So I saw that man had a sticker on his helmet for a skate company. I find it interesting because most skateboarders are rather apolitical. They don't get involved in this kind of stuff. They're too busy out skating.
No carnage, no pedophiles, no child sacrifice, no carnage, no pedophiles, no child sacrifice, no carnage, no child sacrifice, no carnage, no pedophiles, no child sacrifice.
Sorry. I mean, look, for those that have been following my coverage, I know how this stuff plays out. There's going to be a bunch of, mainstream media activists, journalists, personalities who are saying things like, oh, Tim's only on one side and all that stuff. If you're watching my footage, you saw exactly what happened when I walked into those counter-protesters. I walked right up and said, how's it going? Can I talk to you? And the dude started insulting and swearing at me. I said to the guy, I was like, bro, you don't even know who I am, man. Like, I even told him I had mad respect for these guys coming out to speak their minds and challenge things they thought that, were bad and they wanted to speak out against. And the dude still told me to F off. And it's like, they're like, I told you. So like, what am I supposed to do, The police are ordering everyone to disperse. Everyone is being told they must leave now. I believe this might be why the Patriot Prayer Group turned around and is heading back in the other direction. All people must disperse. If you guys want to help out too, you can give the video a thumbs up. Oh man, I need water.
You're too bad.
Yeah.
Good job, Jim. Whew.